Hey there folks, John here from Biddy Kong's Quest, and I am up here in New Jersey visiting family like I do once, probably 1, 2, 3 times a year. And I always stop at two video game stores while I'm up here, Level 1 Games and Digital Press. So I wanted to go ahead and film while I'm stopping at these places looking for stuff. And we're just going to do a little pickup video like we used to, little game hunting pickup video. So we're at Level 1 Games first, so that's where we're going to go in first. So here we go. Okay, so we're going to start here with the Master System stuff. I always hunt for Master System when I go places. What you may not know is the Master System didn't just use cartridges, they also used cards, kind of like the TurboGrafx 16, if you're familiar with that. I always think that's interesting, a lot of people don't know that. And then we move on to the Genesis. This is Streets of Rage. Everybody knows Streets of Rage. What I did think was really interesting here is that rating. Streets of Rage was rated MA13 back in the day, which is crazy by today's standards. Another good one, if you're on the lookout for Genesis games, Tiny Toon Buster's Hidden Treasure is awesome. It's kind of like a Sonic clone, and it actually really surprised me when I went back to it. Now, you also have some shovelware like this Beast game. This, like, Beauty and the Beast was weird, released in 2 different games, and it was just kind of a weird relic of Genesis stuff. Moving on to 3DS, the time to collect 3DS is very quickly disappearing. One of the good ones to pick up that's still kind of cheap is Pilot Wings Resort. Would highly recommend that one. It's an absolute banger of a game. Also, the DS Kirby games used to be really cheap, man. You could get these for like $10-15 a few years ago. Now $40, that's a pretty good price. Like that's market value for that. Also, Mega Man ZX was kind of the same deal. It's kind of like the Metroidvania Mega Man. It's really awesome. Check it out if you haven't. You got some Switch games here. What I thought was interesting is they were selling the Labo Toy-Con #1 separately for $30. Which I thought was cool. I'm just not sure how you would use it because I'm not sure they sell the cardboard anymore. You had a box Super Scope. I had to show that just because I think it's cool. I still need to get one, but I just thought it was awesome. And then on to the NES section, which, as you guys know, is my first love. You have a lot of different stuff here. This is the commons and uncommons. And you had Casino Kid here, which I just think is an interesting relic when Nintendo allowed gambling on the NES. And then this boxed copy of Captain Skyhawk caught my eye. Now, you may see this again here in a minute, but I love Captain Skyhawk. It's one of my favorite NES games. And what a lot of people don't realize is it's actually made by Rare, like the Rare that made Battletoads and Banjo-Kazooie and those other things too. Also, there was this box copy of Spelunker here for $29.99. Now, if this was complete, it would actually be a really good deal, and I almost picked it up, but then I opened it up and realized it didn't have the manual, unfortunately, which is, $30 is about market value for that, and I don't have any particular love for this game. And then, of course, you can't get out of any retro game store without looking at what's in the glass case. You got your TurboGrafx stuff there. I'm going to go ahead and go right past the N64 stuff. There's some good stuff there, but the really interesting stuff is around the corner. You got a boxed Final Fantasy III there. Was really tempted by that, actually. I don't have Final Fantasy III, and I would really love to have a copy on the SNES. You also have your GameCube games. I mean, obviously, GameCube has gone through the roof lately. All that stuff's valuable. You also had just a box of loose TurboGrafx games, which is cool to see. You don't see a lot of that, and these guys had it. You got Oracle of, I think that's Seasons back there. You have the more valuable Master System games, Genesis games. Castle of Illusion is an awesome game, but a little pricier than you might think. And then the crown jewel of this case, Magical Knight Rayearth. I mean, you just don't see that game like ever on the Sega Saturn. So that was really cool to see. Because I don't know if I've ever seen one in person. But that's about it. So let's wrap up and show you what I got. Okay, so we saw some really interesting stuff in there. They had some Master System. They had just a lot of interesting things that we pointed out. But the one thing that I really couldn't walk out of there without was this boxed copy of Captain Skyhawk. Now, if you don't know what Captain Skyhawk is, this is a isometric kind of shooter that was actually made by Rare, and that's the same Rare that made Battletoads and Banjo-Kazooie and all of those other things that are so great. They did this one before they did any of those, and they also did a game called Snake Rattle and Roll, which I've talked about before, which I absolutely love. It's also another isometric one that I just absolutely love. And they were doing this whole isometric thing quite a bit in the NES era, and this is honestly one of my favorite games that they did. Now, it's a little bit frustrating. It takes a little bit of practice to get used to the control scheme and kind of the perspective, because isometric games, it always takes a little bit of time. Even something huge like Super Mario RPG, people like to complain about the isometric nature of it and kind of how it's kind of hard to control sometimes. So you do have a little bit of that, but this is a really fun, really cheap game that you can get, again, made by Rare, and this one came complete in box. So this one's actually got the manual in it too, so give me a second. Okay, finally got this thing out. By the way, I have box protectors for all my games. This one came with them, or with this one. The ones that have this extra stupid little tab right here that's absolutely impossible to get out, I hate them. I don't know if anybody else does, if anybody else collects and does the plastic protectors. I absolutely hate the ones with the stupid little tab right here. I'll probably replace it when I get home. But anyway, so here's the box. You can see it's a little bit damaged. There's not, it's all the artwork's intact and everything, but it's a little bit worn for sure. It was rattling around somebody's collection for a while. I got it for $14.99. You see right there. So that's a pretty good price. This usually goes for, I don't know, around 25 bucks CIB online. Again, this is a game that I just have loved for a long time, and it's a Rare game, and I'm slowly trying to collect all of the Rare games on the NES, and I've actually almost got all of them, and I just didn't have this one complete. So that's why I went ahead and got it. But you can see you've got the game itself right here. Nothing too special about that. It's like a $5 game loose. And then it came with a sleeve, and then it also came with the manual. And you can see the manual is actually, surprisingly, for such a low budget, kind of low cost game, is actually a color manual, which is interesting. But anyways, so that's Captain Skyhawk. Again, if you haven't checked it out, I would highly recommend checking it out. It's definitely worth the $5 for a loose copy, especially if you find it at like a convention or something like that, which I'm sure you can do. If you're starting an NES collection, if you have an NES collection and you're just looking for some more cheap games just to kind of fill out your shelf that are fun to play, definitely check out Captain Skyhawk. And that's about it for Level 1 Games. Like I said, they're a great store. I absolutely love going in there every time. Absolutely excellent customer service. The people that run it are great. I can't say enough good things about it. It's a small store. It's not a huge one, but they have a really good selection. Also, you probably saw a couple little clips in there. They also have a bunch of like trading card game stuff, tabletop gaming. They have dice. They have all that kind of stuff in there as well. So if you're up in New Jersey, North Jersey, and you feel like stopping by, it is a really, really good store. Would highly recommend it. Now we're gonna go off to Clifton, New Jersey, which is about 20 minutes away from here, and we're gonna go to one of my other favorite stores, which is called Digital Press Games. And this one's a completely different animal. It's a huge store with all kinds of it almost feels like a museum because of all the display cases and all the other stuff that they have. So that's a completely different store. Usually I can find some other completely different stuff there. So we're gonna go over there. Probably gonna change shirts because this is gonna be a different day, and then we will see you there. So let's go. Okay, so here we are at Digital Press Video Games. This is the sign, obviously. Just wanted you guys to know where we're at. Here's the storefront. Always kind of kitschy window. It's kind of fun to look at. Obviously, we're going to the NES first. You guys know me by now. I thought this was interesting. You don't see a Ninja Kid very often, especially not in the commons section. It's kind of just a more uncommon game. They had some Super Famicom stuff. It was mostly just sports stuff, though. The Valkyrie Profile is an awesome game, but I remember when you could get Castlevania Symphony of the Night for like $5. Also, they had a bunch of special editions. Metroid Dread obviously has gone up in price. $200 is a lot. And then Fire Emblem. Any Fire Emblem's worth money, man. You also have the cool Zelda Link's Awakening Collector's Edition. I really regret not picking that up when I had the chance. And then the Super Mario 3D All-Stars. I thought this was interesting. Still no idea why you can't get this anymore, but it's $100. This is a bunch of the older stuff. I thought this was interesting because they had a ton of Odyssey 2 stuff, Magnavox Odyssey 2, that was in absolutely pristine condition. Like, these boxes looked like they were new off the shelf. It was crazy, and they were only $5. I didn't get any because I don't really collect that, but I just thought it was really cool to see. They also have this little press play cafe in the back where you can just go and basically just play games if you have a membership there. I thought that was cool. And then this back display case that just feels like it belongs in a museum with a bunch of older stuff in it. You got those older CRTs down there in the bottom. And it adds to the museum quality of digital press. You got your Wii U games. Again, the time's running out to collect Wii U if you're interested in that. They're going up. There's the system itself, which $179 is pretty good going rate for that system boxed, actually. You got your DS games, 3DS games. I wanted to show this one just because they had a copy of Ghost Trick, which just came out on the Switch, and everybody's wondering, like, what the heck is this game? That's the reason they're re-releasing it. Almost $200. And then I found some loose Master System games. Space Harrier, I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I didn't have it on the Master System, so I went ahead and picked that up. And then you have the really, really valuable Master System stuff. You've got all kinds of stuff in there that's really cool. Now, above it, you also have some loose stuff. I almost walked out of here with that Wonder Boy 3 Dragon's Trap just because I've got a video that I'm doing on it right now. That's about it. So let's just go back, and I'll show you what I got. Okay, so that was Digital Press. Like I said, very different store than Level 1, but both are awesome places. Saw a lot of interesting stuff in there. Again, that one's a little set up a little bit differently, a little bit more like a museum, has some more display cases and stuff like that. Digital Press also tends to have some more of the high dollar value items, as I'm sure you guys saw. And usually has a pretty good selection, especially if you're looking for some of those more rare high dollar value things. I did not go in there expecting to get anything hugely expensive today. I have done that before on past videos, but today I just picked up a couple of small things. Most of you guys will know, if you've been a long-time viewers of the channel, I love the Sega Master System, and so I just picked up a couple of commons that I didn't have before that are pretty good. First off is Zillion, and if you've never played this, this is kind of like I guess a Metroid-ish game for the Master System. It's got a lot of exploration, those sorts of things. It's a little bit obtuse, so you gotta have a little bit of patience playing it, but it's a lot of fun. Would highly recommend checking it out. This one I got especially because it's just in really good shape. The label you see there is a lot of times you'll have a lot of white discoloration right here at the crease. There's hardly any there. And this was $14.99, which is about the market rate for this game, but as again people that have watched for a while will know, I am always fine paying the market rate for a game if I can pay for it and see it in person with my own, and touch it with my own two hands, as opposed to buying something online. I hate buying things online. I avoid it if I can, because you just never really know what the condition of the thing is. Digital Press, I've been going to them for years. I know they test all their stuff. I know that it's going to be good quality, and then I can physically touch it and see it, and see that the label's in good shape and everything, and there's no real big scratches on the cart or anything like that. So that makes it worth it, again, getting it at market value. And this is one that I've been meaning to pick up for a while. They had it, it was in good shape, so figured why not. The other one that I got was Space Harrier, and you can see this one has a little bit more discoloration, which is honestly fine. This is a really common game. And $10.99, which is actually a little below market value. Market value is more like $14-15 for this one. I didn't really pick this one up because it was a good deal. I picked this up because this is a massive hole in my collection. I absolutely love Space Harrier. Love it in the arcade. It's one of my favorite Sega games, and I didn't have it for the Master System, so it was nice to see a copy a little bit under market value, in pretty good shape, and it just felt like this was a good time to pick this one up. So that is it for Digital Press. I only got these two. And that's it for Level 1 Games and Digital Press. These guys, again, run really good shops up here. I highly recommend, if you're ever in North Jersey, check out both of them. There's a lot of other retro game shops in the area too. I've been to a few of them, but these are the two that I always keep on coming back to. So, we got our Captain Skyhawk, and then we got our two Master System games, and I'd say it was a pretty successful day for me. But that's about all I got for today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you for watching. We'll have more stuff coming soon. I will be going to Southeast Game Exchange next weekend, and we'll see a bunch of other people there, like Square Pegs or Jay from Square Pegs, and several other people. And I think we're gonna have a really good time just going around visiting people, and then also seeing what deals and what games we can find. And I'll definitely be making a video about that. So thank you guys for watching. That's about it for me for now. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you all next time.